Hey everyone, and welcome to Maybe Muslim. I'm Mariyam Haider, producer and host of the podcast. And in this conversation, I'm speaking with Ramseena Rasheed from Kasargod, Kerala, who, along with her twin sister Risana, became the first women in their community to clear the Joint Entrance Examination, JEE Advanced, considered one of the toughest entrance exams to enter the Indian Institute of Technology. Ramseena offers a window into her upbringing in a working class family, the unconditional support from her parents, and wading through patriarchal attitudes of relatives and sexist or Islamophobic notions of teachers over the course of her schooling and engineering coaching. For Ramseena, her 5 years at IIT were filled with cultural exposure, tireless competition, and a drive to find a job to financially support her family. Currently working in the corporate sector in Bengaluru, she shares many instances of her professional life through social media. And despite experiencing online trolling over her visible Muslim identity or views, Ramseena continues to offer advice and learnings to young career aspirants from her hometown and across the country. We discuss this and many more things that make Ramseena's journey truly an inspiration for many young women in the country. Do give this episode a listen, and you can learn more about Ramseena through MBM's website. Hey Ramseena, welcome to Maybe Muslim. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited to have my Sunday spent with you and in your company. Let's start from the beginning and talk about you and Risana. So I got to know about you and Risana both through Instagram and a reel that was shared about you both cracking the IIT and just going through your IIT journeys and now working in the corporate sector in India. Can you give a bit of your early beginnings and share where you come from and your love for STEM and science?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we are both from a remote village in Kerala, which is like located at the northernmost district, Kasargod. And we are from a background or a family which is not very much into education or stuff, something like that. So we were both our parents and including our immediate family members, they haven't done their schooling even 10th standard properly, or they are not even 10th pass out or something like that. They are like dropped out before 10th. So that is the kind of family into we were born. So again, that more than the educational lack, they also had financial problems in their family. So when we were born, obviously they were like two girls at the same time, and they were not happy with the fact that they got our parents got two twin girls in their like very early stage of like my parents were like very young when we were born. My mom was just about 19 years old, something like that, and my father was also like 24 or something. So our family, like their parents or those people, the immediate family members used to criticize them, or like they were blaming them for having us like two twin girls, and they would always tell our father to start earning more, so that in later in life he will have no problem when he's trying to marry us off. So this was the kind of situation when we were born. And throughout our schooling days, or just when we started our kindergarten, those time itself, we would often hear these kind of talkings from our family member towards our parents. Like my father used to believe in education. Like he used to feel that only through education we can change our lives. So he used to encourage us towards studying. Like he would always try his best to send us to best schools possible, something like that. So he actually sent us to English medium school. It was like the first, we were like the first members in our family to go to English medium school. And because that was the best school available during that time, even though my father was a rickshaw driver at that time, he would save his level best so that he can send both of us to that school. And my again he used to get criticism for that fact as well. Like they would say, people would say like, why you are spending on your girls education, stuff like that. It is not gonna be any way useful to you. Once they will get married, they will just go somewhere and you are not gonna get anything in reply. Those kind of things we often used to hear that. So it is from that kind of criticism we started feeling that education is important, and we wanted to try our level best as much as we can do, so that later we can show them that that is not the way we are, like how we will do, what we will do, what we will show. That is something we always had in our mind. So it was something kind of a motivation for us. Always we used to take all their negative words. Like we used to hear, we used to read this quote, when they throw stone at you, build your own empire with that. So we often used to take all their criticism in our mind, so that we can fuel all our determination with those criticism. So that is what we always wished for. So it was not particularly in love for science or anything during that time, like when we were below 10th standard. We would study a lot, we will try, we will do, like we will focus all our time on education, just because we wanted to be something, and we knew that without money or without any financial setup in our family, the only thing that can help us was to get educated and do our best. So that is how we started to learn and like practice a lot. Like even though we were not going for any IIT foundation courses or anything, we were doing self study in the most best possible manner, such that all our basics were clear right from our 8th standard or so. Like we were like thorough with everything. We were like always the first in our class. We would do often like we would score full in almost all the subjects throughout our school. Like from first to 10th, we were like we wanted to get full score. So that is how we were training ourselves. And again after 10th, we started to know that there is something called science, commerce, this kind of stuff. And again we went for science only because that is the way people with higher scores usually go. We didn't have any idea why we have to go to science or commerce, or we didn't have an idea. And again in 11th and 12th as well, we started getting more and more criticism. Even our schools, in our schools, there were teachers who would uh, like talk behind our backs. We would hear that, like there were like people, teachers who would say, what is the point of Muslim girls studying this much? It doesn't matter anyway, later in their life they are anyway gonna get married maybe after 12th, and they will just settle down in some where they would be just doing housework or whatever. So why are they like trying their best? What's the point? They would just generalize this idea of no importance for education for every Muslim girl. They were like, there is no point for a Muslim girl to try harder, or there is no point. It was that way we used to hear from people around us, and it was too painful for us to hear the same thing from even our own teachers. Like we wanted them not to think that way, at least about us, because obviously they are seeing our effort and they shouldn't generalize that. So it again motivated us. It was like, so okay, we are not going to settle for anything less. We are going to aim for whatever the best which will come. So that is how we came to know about IIT or whatever thing is there left. So like after 12th standard, when we appeared for JE advanced, JE mains first time, and we both got qualified to write JE advanced. And we, after writing JE advanced exam, we understood that this exam is very tough. Like the questions that were asked is very ultra level. It is like mind blowing kind of questions. And we were like, if these kinds of exam, if they are conducting these kind of exam and then they are taking students to those colleges, then that college must be the best, right? It would have all the best students, or all the people who have done their maximum effort, or they would have tried their best. So we wanted to be surrounded with people like that, similar mindset, something like that.
This is so that after 10th, you moved to a government school. Like you appeared for your 12th board exams to Kerala State Board, and you both had mentioned to me that you found the education standards at par with your private educational experience.
Yes, so yeah, we were both in English medium school till 10th standard. But after 10th, we went to government school, because in Kerala, government schools are like top yeah, for higher secondary education. I mean 11th and 12th. Why? Because NCRT syllabus is followed, and it is English medium only. There is no difference with respect to CBSE. Everything the syllabus is same, and on top of that, we have very high, very good quality teachers. They would teach like super perfectly. I mean, I felt that throughout my educational life, I never had that good teachers or professors, even in IIT or any other places. Like our higher secondary teachers were always the best. One more important point is that you don't have to pay a penny for that. The education is free, and you are getting the highest quality education. Like you don't have to go for IIT coaching specifically. With your school itself, you will have all the concepts clear. So that is like, no, I am not saying every teachers were the best, but at least we had some teachers which who were like totally good. Like they were totally dedicated people, and there were lacking like the, for example, in our case, if physics was for us, physics teacher was the best. I mean, I am talking about him only. Okay, so but the guidance that he is giving us towards how we should learn physics, we can apply the same to mathematics and biology, everything other as well, right? Even if we don't have good educators for those subjects, we can still apply the same guidance. Guidance is, in my opinion, what a teacher should give is not just the concept or something. It is more like guidance is what is must. Like we need to know what exactly we have to study. If we know that, then we can do it our own. We can go through textbook, we will understand things, not a problem. But that is what I was saying. Like our mathematics or other teachers were not good, but still we were able to apply the same guidance whatever we got from physics teacher to that. Due to that reason, or all our subject were like we were performing nicely.
Like you had contemporaries, you had other students, female students, part of your class, part of your batch. What was their sort of inclination? Did you find that, much like you and Risana, there were other girls as well who were interested in pursuing higher education?
Actually, it was a class of 120 students. Okay, it was 60 boys and 60 girls. Like our school was the top. Like they would only take students with top score in 10th standard. Our government school. So all those 120 students were like 10th standard full A plus kind of people. Like top students, and there were like 10 to 12 girls, which included both Muslims as well as non-Muslim girls. They were also interested so much in science. They wanted to pursue science as well. May not be like specifically IIT or something, but they wanted to pursue science. But in most of their cases, like non-Muslims, their parents were most of their parents were teachers. Okay, so they would support them towards this, and they would encourage them to go for coaching. They got this opportunity and family support as well. But for Muslims case, for Muslim girls who had very high percent, they were not supported by their family. Okay, they were like they won't allow them to go for coaching or anything. And I had my one of my best friend, uh, she got some 99% in 12th standard, and she wanted to pursue medical. Okay, but her family was not in support of that, because in if you had to go for medical, then you have to go for coaching, right? And these coaching facilities, these things are not available in our area. We are like very remote area, right? So they had to go to some southern part of Kerala. Even their parents were not even allowing that. Okay, due to that reason, they had to leave their dream, or they had to just adjust to whatever their family were saying, because they didn't have any choice. But in our case, we were able to do something only because our family were so like my parents, my father and mother, they were super supportive of us. Like whatever decision we took, they always agreed. They wouldn't ever try to force what any of their opinion on us. They would always allow us to choose whatever we want to do in life. So that is the only reason we had this like, again, after 12th, when we wrote JE advanced exam, one of us only could qualify. The other one was not able to qualify. Why? Because IIT requires some coaching. Like even if we have very good concepts, everything clear, we need to have a practice on writing exam, time management. These kind of things are very much necessary. At least 1 year of coaching is very much essential to crack JEE Advanced. So after 12th, when we told our parents that we want to go for IIT, we feel like it is the best. Again, we got medical seat that time in 12th, and our teachers were not fully supportive. They were like, if you got a medical seat, then go for it. Why you are talking about IIT, whatever? And we were like, why we should? Like they were telling us in that manner only because we are Muslim girls. Okay, they would often tell us it is better you go to become a doctor, because later in life, if you get married and your in-laws are not supporting you to go for anything, then you can have a clinic at your house. That is what they were saying. So we were like, why we should leave our dream? Like we wanted to study physics, chemistry, maths, and if you are going to medical, then what's the point of all our effort? Like why we would? So that is what we would we told our teachers, but they were again like, you are wasting a medical seat, what's the point? Those things. They were like, are you sure that you will get IIT after 1 year of coaching? Are you sure? There was something like that. They were not confident enough. But our parents were like, no matter what, if you guys want to do something, go for it. We don't care if if you waste 1 year, and if you still didn't get IIT, no problem, no problem at all. You can go for teaching, something like that, no issue with them. So I feel like it was mainly because my parents were not educated much, so they didn't have some prior notion about my children should be in this way, that way. They didn't have that kind of concept. So maybe due to that, they were like open towards us. They were like, you can do whatever you want.
That's amazing. And you're very right about how teachers could try to look at the gender or the religious background. Like they will assume that girls should do courses that are meant for them based on their idea of women's roles in life, that they should do pursue medical because becoming a doctor is a better profession than for women. Again, I'm using quotes. Or and I've seen that in like in my mother's generation, there were these conversations. Like there was a subject called home science, which is always something that was pursued by women for some reason, or designed for like women. And it's very strange that the assumption is that it's home science, again in quotes. And so obviously women need to learn the science about home, the cooking and everything, and baking and things like that. And I can see where, like, I can relate to that, when teachers would come up with these very like binary understanding of what boys can do and what girls can do. And I think kudos to your parents that they were so comfortable with the idea that your dreams are your dreams, and they did not project their own understanding of what your future should be. And I find that remarkable, and I really feel great about hearing this. And then, like you and Risana had mentioned earlier, you took a year off to do your coaching in Kottayam, right? Can you share a bit
Yes.
about that journey?
Yes. So it was like after J advanced result came, and we were like, after taking opinion from teachers, everyone, like we were not sure like what we are going to do. We obviously wanted to go to IIT. That was clear to us, but we were not sure which way we had to choose, where we should go for coaching. We had no idea about anything of sort in our mind. Obviously, YouTube or anything, these kind of platforms were not that widespread in use that time, and we didn't have any idea. Only we can do is we can talk to our parents or to teachers, those kind of people immediate to us. So that is when we searched about, or we kind of heard about uh, different coachings available inside Kerala as well as throughout. It was like a whole different kind of experience, because that is the first time we are coming out of our village to study in a different area, and again we are not first in the class. Like we are used to being first in the class, and suddenly one day we are like not first anymore, and it was like a mental torture or something. Based on our score, based on our first attempt score, our rank, based on our Kerala rank, considering our 12th, everything, all those marks, they will categorize students into different classes, and those who have higher scores in their first attempt, or considering all those aspects, there is one batch which have all the potentially higher people. Okay, and we were also part of that because of our all 12th first attempt result, all those things. But when we wrote the exam first time in that class after 1 month of something, we were like the last of that class, and we were like, we cannot digest it. We were like, how can this happen? We were not looking at the global view, we were just comparing it with our school life, those things. We were not able to digest the fact that it is the Kerala population here, we are comparing with Kerala population. No, we couldn't. And we even felt like, let's stop it, let's go back home. And that is a like that is first of all, like when you start running a race, and somebody has already run so far, and you are like starting in your starting location, you are still there, and if you are comparing the person here and here, like it doesn't make sense, right? Most of the students in that batch already had coaching, they were from privileged families or privileged background, but we were comparing ourselves with those people. So it wasn't right, but now I can understand, but that time I was not able to understand that. So that was one problem, and another problem was because we are a visibly Muslim students, or we would say like it was not this way. I used to wear hijab that time, I was like fully covered in black, and there were some teachers who would see us as just like you would have seen the people commenting in my reel, just because I was having a hijab, a black hijab, they would directly term it as terrorist or something. I don't know, some kind of notion they have already with those who are wearing that kind of a black hijab. Okay, and the same thing I experienced first of all in my life during those coaching days. There were teachers who would treat us very differently, who would often make jokes specifically intended to us. Like they would call us Itatas from Kasargod. Itatas from Kasargod means Didis from Kasargod. Who may not know if, for example, if they are talking, teaching about physics, electricity, and stuff, if they will draw some circuits and all, and they would say this is an open circuit, something like that, and they would ask us, are you understanding what is the meaning of switching on and switching off? Like kind of joking, specifically in a sense that we are backward, uh, just because we are wearing some black tent or something, we don't know anything about switching on a circuit, anything. So they would treat us very differently, and we were not understanding why they are like specifically aiming at us, or what is the problem, what we did wrong. We were not understanding that, and we would feel like very much dejected. We used to be people sitting in the front row so that we can write everything, we can listen everything, but then we used to lack that confidence to sit in the front, because we were afraid that they would notice us, they would again make joke on us. And because during coaching we already have a lot of mental pressure, and on top of it, teachers are not forget about supporting, they don't have to support us, but when they are making life more hard for us, it is like we will lose our confidence to a point that we can't understand like whatever is going on, how we should correct, what is the problem with us, we can't understand. So it was like going very tough. It was too tough for us initially in the 2 to 3 months. But then we were like very hopeful people. Okay, we would put all the trust in Allah. Like we would always hope that we had only good intentions, so eventually everything will turn out to be good. So we would always clung to that hope. Okay, so after 3 months or so, uh, we were practicing, and after that, when we are writing exams, we used to have weekly exams and stuff, right? Like that. So in during one of that time, one weekly exam, my sister got first rank out of all the people written, out of all the people in that IIT J Advanced coaching batch. And it was like we tried for that only because we wanted to change that mindset that we don't know anything. We wanted to change that, but somehow we got first. And due to that very reason, the director of that institute, he would often talk about us in every school. Like he would often talk the story of us, like two girls from an this kind of circumstance, this kind of background came here. Now they are this way. So we used to hear that story, and we would feel like that is when we started feeling better. Okay, now we are doing something nicely, so it is fine.
What was the reaction of like your classmates?
In IIT batch,
Yeah.
no, they were. Uh, they wouldn't treat us any differently. They were like very good students.
Hmm.
They are mostly from. There were no Muslims first of all. Like Muslims are very less. They are from other religion, but they are very good students. Like they are not like the way you see in the hatred in North India or any stuff. It is not like that. Students were like at least this is our generation, right? Our generation students are very supportive of us, or they would. They never discriminated us based on the way we appear, based on our religion or any of sort. They will try their best to include us or to make us feel included. Those things were there, so they were like very good people. So due to there were like those positive things around us, that might be the thing that had us back there. We didn't then felt to go back home. We were trying our best, and that is how that life were. But again, that is the first time in my life I started experiencing Islamophobia.
I think when you talk about that difference, like you grew up knowing that there was already a sense of conservatism or orthodoxy within the community, and so you both were the outliers
Yes, yes,
that wanted to, you know, make a life out of the education you were getting and really see how far you can take it, you know.
yes,
And then you face this Islamophobia, which is very new and which is very, I would say, subtle, because they are just trying to make make a joke about the fact that, oh, can you turn on the switch or not, do you know how to do it? But it reeks of Islamophobia. It's also like it comes from this very I would say a very privileged perspective, where they'll try to call out someone who they think does not understand or doesn't have this experience that they have. How did that change as you both, I would speak to you though, how did that change for you when you cleared IIT? And I think before we talk about you getting into your IIT years, what was the reaction of your family and your sister, and also people like your relatives when you cleared the IIT ranks?
first of all, our relatives have no idea about IIT. When we cleared IIT, they didn't know what is IIT. They still, like, even now most of our relatives don't know what IIT is. Okay, they only know that my parents kids are earning some good amount and they are sending money back home. They only know that much. They don't know what their education is, what IIT is, nothing. They have no idea. So when we cleared IIT, we only knew, okay, this is a big thing. Okay. And uh, again, our parents knew, okay, they were trying their hard for that exam and they cleared it. Oh, nice, that's it. There was nothing, no reaction from their relatives, no idea about it again. And when it comes, so for us, when we cleared the exam, we felt so happy only because of the fact that those teachers who taught us in that coaching institute will now know that, okay, these two girls they were joking. Obviously our identity is like widespread, like obviously they will know us uh, because of our specific appearance. They would know us, and we were happy with the fact that, okay, now onwards they won't again joke about any new Muslim student coming from any such background wearing a black tent or whatever they call. They wouldn't joke because now they understood, okay, these kind of people can also get into IIT. They can also score good. Then there is no point in joking. So that is the, like, that is why we felt happy first of all. And again, our aim was not IIT or anything. We always lived for rebelling or doing something against whatever people are expecting. So that is the kind of happiness that was coming to us. That's it.
No, that's fantastic. And I think I'm also genuinely very excited to hear how now. So you said even now you have relatives who perhaps don't understand IITs, the way the Indian education is structured, and the level at which it's the amount of hard work it takes to clear IITs. What was the reaction of, did your school teachers back in Kasargod, like where you come from, did you find there was a change of tone? Like, again, there were teachers, except for the physics teacher, there were all these teachers who had, again, Islamophobic ideas or were just discriminatory towards young Muslim girls studying. So do you remember, would you like to share any of those reactions?
Yeah, actually, they were also at least they knew IIT, what IIT is, at least. So they were kind of shocked. They were really shocked. They couldn't believe that, okay, these two girls cracked it. They were like, no, this like coming from their dream or something. So it was like a kind of a really a kind of a shock for them. And obviously I didn't see much of comments or anything, but I only talked to my my very immediate teachers. They would often say some things, and now I often used to hear that some of the teachers used to tell the story of us in their classes, so that okay, there were these two girls who were like this that, and they used to do this that, and now they are here. I would often hear that from my juniors or people who they contact me through Instagram or stuff, WhatsApp. Those people, my juniors, very much juniors, they would tell us like, okay, we used to hear your story from that teacher in our class. They would often quote both of you. So it was like a, for me it felt really good. Why? Because I always wanted to change the way society used to think. Okay, earlier, just before whatever we had done earlier, there was this concept that okay, a Muslim girl can do only this much or that much. Okay, there was no real example of people who have done something very differently to the societal expectation or norms or whatever. And when I used to hear this from juniors like that, I used to feel very proud of myself for setting as an example for younger generation, so that okay, they don't need to worry about, okay, I am a Muslim girl, I can't do anything more. They don't need to worry about it because they have examples in their life. There are people who have done it. So it felt really good knowing that. And yeah.
I mean, quite literally breaking the class ceiling. And I know Risana had mentioned the term twin energy, and I really felt, I could feel the twin energy when I spoke to you both earlier. And I also think that in a way you've not just inspired the your younger batches in at school and at coaching center, but I think a lot of other girls who might not even come from that background, but perhaps somewhere feel limited by the possibilities that they can rise up to. And I want to talk to you about, because you said earlier that science, you didn't really have any expectation around science or physics per se. You really just wanted to harness your educational
Yes.
opportunity. So when you finally got into IIT and you were part of this institution that is at the top of what is considered the highest educational standards when it comes to science and engineering, what was that experience or feeling like? And can you share a bit more about your journey through the 5 years at IIT?
Yes, so it like first of all, when we were in the first year of college, we are exposed to all kind of engineering subjects and everything. Like irrespective of our particular domain, we can learn everything. Like the curriculum is same for every person. So we were like these kind of things were very new to us. For example, coding, these stuffs were very new to us. And because we were particularly from bioscience batch, where we have biology, science, mathematics, physics, those stuff only. So when we were like getting all these new curriculum, new things to learn, it felt really good. Like and on top of it, there were like a lot of opportunities inside IIT. It is not just about classes, lectures, or stuff like that. There are a lot of things to learn, be it cultural. As I would give more importance to the cultural, those kind of aspects. Okay, because students from all over India are coming to that place, and you have a diverse kind of background, like diverse kind of population in your immediate surrounding, and you get to know a lot about people from different area, how they think, what their beliefs are, what their backgrounds are, how they're like everything. Those kind of things amused me, or I would say it was like really interesting to me to know, because that kind of a situation we cannot get anywhere. I feel so, like if I am to study in Kerala itself, I wouldn't get that kind of an opportunity, I guess.
Can you give a couple of examples of what those cultural aspects were for you?
For example, like the way they celebrate, the way they think, uh, like we would often have some gatherings, kind of a club kind of a thing. Like inside IIT we have numerous clubs. Okay, these are student associations built by people from similar interests. For example, if you have interest space, kind of talking about space or stuff, understanding space, then you will build a club, and people having similar interest will go there, and they will talk and they will understand about it, stuffs like that. Okay, so there were a lot of such clubs. Like those who want to do film or make film, they will have their own club, and literary society, they will have different society, cultural arts, they will have their own societies and stuff. And when you go there, it will be like a small gathering with all the with representative from all states, something like that. And you would discuss about things. And again, this is not a like people are like in our generation people, right? They won't be having so much hatred or something like that. Like the discussion would be in a good manner, so that we get to learn more about how people are thinking from their background, from their state, from their situation, from their family, what is going on. Like in my society, I know what is going on. Like for example, if a girl is going to focus her luck on marriage, then that's it. That is how like most of the girls, they ruin their lives in our area or something like that. They wouldn't often get a chance to education or stuff after that. But it is not the case in north, right? In north, I don't know, in different places, the society works in a different manner. It is not the way that is working in our place or something like that. So getting to know all these aspects in a real life setting, like we can get to know all this in YouTube, but getting to know these things in real life felt really amazing to me, and we have a lot of things to learn. I feel like I was a different person when I went to my first year of college, and after coming back after fifth year, I feel like a different person, getting all these different ideas and different aspects from people, and relearning, unlearning things that we often took as a part of us from our society or from our background. I think that is very important, right? Like sometimes we are like from a society, when we are coming from a particular society, there are a lot of stuff that is put into our head, knowingly or unknowingly. We would just take it as a part of ourselves. But later, when you go and learn things from other people, other surroundings, then you will understand, okay, there were something which are foolish, which are not required. Like there are so many things to correct. Those things will get. I think that is a part of what I would say, adulting, not adulting. Some word we should give it. And that due to that very reason, I feel like that fifth year person who came back from IIT is a different version of me. So that is the main thing I felt in my college. And yeah, in addition to that, when we talk about the technical stuff or the uh, engineering, those kind of things, we have a lot of opportunity to learn about newer technologies, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these things. We have a lot of opportunity in IIT. And we, because people are, again, people around us are so much competitive, so much willing to learn, so much, what I would say, searching everything and getting so much fat, then it automatically reached to us as well. So we also get up to date with the newest information. So I think it was, in that way, it was really good.
I was listening to you and going back to my undergrad years, because even for me, I come from a smaller town and I moved to Delhi for my undergrad. And I remember, just even though I was pursuing something I really wanted to, and I had the opportunity to do that, my world view had changed by the time my first year was over. I remember just like you use the words unlearning, and realizing how much we grow up with certain ideas, and suddenly you go to
Yes.
another city, and you meet a different world altogether, because you
Yes.
have people from all walks of life, and it's just so amazing. I don't know if there's any other word for that, because my experience was that. And when I'm listening to you, you're kind of transporting me back to
Yes.
that
Yes.
first 3 years of my like 3 years of my undergrad. And I'm just like, yeah, like it's a thrill, and you can't explain it any other way. And I truly feel so happy just listening to what you're sharing. You pursued aerospace engineering, right?
Yes.
How, like, you chose aerospace engineering, and I want to hear more about when you did study those subjects. How different was studying with, again, this exciting space, not just as a subject, but also with the teachers, also with the students. How did you feel about that, and what are some of the, again, experiences, if you can share?
Yes, so talking about aerospace engineering, I took it only because it had fluid dynamics, those kind of courses. Okay, I was also, it felt fancy, aerospace, so it is fancy. Obviously, most of the students who came to our department, they took the department only because of this aerospace, the fancy associated with that. Okay, and okay, I knew that somehow it is related to like aeroplane building stuff. So okay, I found it is cool thing to do. So that is how, like, I decided to take aerospace engineering. But within 1 or 2 years, I felt like it is not always that
That's
fancy. Not, it is not like, we are very innocent, right? In our 12th or something, just after we get IIT, we are very innocent people. When we think about aerospace engineering, we would be thinking, okay, we are going to make an aeroplane at the end of fifth year. That is the way we are thinking. But in 1 or 2 years, we understand that, okay, we are only a part of it. We cannot be doing everything. And then I decided to, like, uh, I decided to learn more about what are the newer technologies and stuff. Okay, and that is when I go to understand about computer vision, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these newer technologies, and it felt so much more interesting to me than aerospace. Okay, then I decided. Then I was thinking, but I need to somehow link these two. Like, then what is the point if I'm taking 5 years aerospace engineering? Then I'm going for something else. What's the point? So I was thinking, how can I link both of these? And that is when, in my fourth year, I understood that I can apply computer vision, machine learning, all this stuff in aerospace domain, so that it would be like an amalgam of both, and it would be interesting to me as well, because obviously I want to be a part of aerospace sector, but in a more new gen manner, not like the traditional aerospace. So I started to do projects, like, there are like really good professors, okay, in IIT. They may not be teaching very nicely because they are not used to teaching very nicely, but they can give you a very good guidance. They can give you, what I would say, support. They have newer ideas, those kind of, like, they are very welcoming people. If you go with some new idea, they are like very welcoming. They would support your idea, they would guide you properly how to go about it. Those kind of professors are there. So I was fortunate to have met a professor in my department who was like very welcoming towards my this idea. I had this idea of applying computer vision, like just like we have Tesla car and all, right? Automatic cars. So I was thinking, why can't we do the similar something kind of thing in aerospace as well? We can come up with some artificial intelligence kind of stuff into aerospace. So when I went with this particular idea to my that prof, and I was like I there are bad profs also, okay. So we always have mixed kind of population. There are people who would criticize you for some things. There are like those kind of people are always there everywhere. So I had this mixed feeling what how he would react, and would he think I am saying some blunder. I had this things in my mind, but he was very welcoming. He supported me very nicely. He gave all the procedures how to go about it, and he was like guiding me very properly. And within 2 years of my masters, I took 5 years course which is called a dual degree, which is BTech and MTech together. And MTech is like last 1.5 to 2 years. So that time we had to do our specialization, okay. And I was doing this kind of a project where I am applying computer vision, artificial intelligence in aerospace sector under the guidance of this professor. And we participated in with a team of other three people, like 4 people team. We participated in one project, which was like a competition throughout India, and we got second prize. So it was like he was like very good, and he was super guy, super good professor, okay. And due to that reason, I was able to make a career out of it. Like I completed that project. I did that as my MTech thesis, and after that, later when I applied for my current job, this helped me a lot because they were also looking for a similar kind of new gen technology in aerospace sector. So it was like maybe I was fortunate to have met him, so that I got very good rules how to follow those kind of stuff. Or maybe because I really had genuine interest in that, and fortunately I was able to do a project which was in line with later what the aerospector would want. So due to that reason, it was like it did work well for me. If I had stick to that traditional aero sector, then I wouldn't have given. I wouldn't have got a better opportunity inside India, because aerospace sector again, it has limited scope. Okay, so if you are doing only education inside India, just the maybe graduation and post graduation, that is not enough. If we want to get a really good job and stuff, we need to have at least PhD from some foreign university. That is really important. Otherwise it is not easier to get into aerospace sector, that too in India. But because I did these kind of projects and stuff, and I had something in my resume, I was able to make a career out of it within 5 years. Otherwise, like most of the students in my class, they are still pursuing PhD degree, those stuff. Because if you stick to traditional aerospace, then within 5 years we cannot make a career within out of it. We need to have PhD, those. But my family, again, you know that my family had some financial situations, and I didn't have time to go for a PhD again. At least for now, I had to make money, right? So so it was like due to that particular project or stuff, it helped me, I guess.
That's fantastic to hear, but also I also feel it's your genuine interest, and I think it's very lucky to find a professor or a mentor who can trust your journey and trust your vision. And
Yes.
I am really happy to hear that that was something that happened for you in the IIT campus. You earlier said about how the person who started IIT is, after the 5 years, she became a very different person. I'm curious to hear if you had to give the younger, your younger self, some piece of advice for the 5 years at IIT, what would that be?
um I would be telling her to just focus on whatever is there in her mind. Like if she has some dream, if she has something to do, or she has some vision, don't fear about what others are thinking. What, like in my case, when I went to first year of my college, I had a lot of misconceptions, I would say, like a lot of things which were misplaced, I would say. Like I was not confident enough. I had a lot of problem, mainly because I gave too much importance to whatever people around me were talking about. Okay. So it was like how people were viewing me, how people were reacting to me, to the person I was when I went to that first year of college. It was a different person. It is not the person that I am sitting here. She was like a uh, uh, she lacked confidence. That is the main thing. Even though she cleared IIT advanced exam and she is going to a big college, but she had a lot of questions in her mind, mainly because it were injected by the societal circumstance around her, or maybe in college also you would see a lot of negative people. There are negative things around her. So in those situation, we usually lack confidence. Most of the, when I talk to most of the people, like most of the students inside IIT, there are a lot of people who are facing the same issue. Like they usually lack their confidence when after they go to college. I don't know, maybe due to the competition that they are seeing around them, or maybe due to lack of confidence in themselves, or maybe fear of what eventually will happen, like if they can clear everything nicely. Those kind of stuff were always there. Okay. But I think it is important that one should focus only on whatever inside them. Like they should just focus on their goals. Okay. We shouldn't give importance to whatever people are talking about us or about anything in general around us. Because if we started to trust others, like whatever people are saying around us, we would often like go astray. I would say there will be one goal to us, we should be rather focusing on that, but because of all these things come into our mind, we will be like here and there, and we would eventually go to some other direction which is not what we wanted. So after my third year, I started to realize, okay, this is not the person I have to be. I started to understand, okay, I have a goal to do. I have something to do in life, and I should just focus on that. That is when my confidence came back to me. That is when I decided, okay, forget about all other people, whatever they are doing, whatever it is, I don't care. I would just do whatever little things, whatever things I decided for myself, I would just focus on that. And I think it is really important. If I had the same mentality since my first year, I would have done something, some other things as well. But no, I think so. What I'm saying is, any student who is going to any particular college or wherever, they should give importance to their. I think we talked about twin energy, right, earlier. So this is one important thing where I should mention about this twin energy. So till our coaching days, just before our we going to our college separately on our way, we were together. So if I had something to some problems, my sister would often give me like these kind of things, to like she would often give me like I would say advices or something. She would say, yeah, don't focus on this stuff, you do what you feel like. This kind of, she would be there as a second sound to me. But when we are going to college, we were like suddenly we were alone and we didn't know like how to tackle that. Maybe due to that I had that kind of an issue, but I don't know if it is the same thing for every student, because they would have already had a coping mechanism since their childhood. I don't know, but we didn't have that. Till that point we were always together, so we had this kind of a, I would say, some energy balancing mechanism where we will always get some feedback with from this particular person who is right beside me, so we don't need to worry about anything else. We had this support system. But then when we were suddenly alone, we don't know to uh, analyze the situation, to focus where we don't know.
I also think the twin energy part is something I'd love to hear from Risana as well. And she does mention how she felt the same way when she was in a different campus and obviously dealing with that kind of. And I think all of us do in some way or the other, but you're right. I think we all have different coping mechanisms, and it's important to recognize how do you get yourself on that track. and follow your
Yes.
gut in a way that
Yes.
this is truly what you want to pursue. Talking about the journey you've made with IIT, you've also been creating, and I would say it's your Instagram game. I really love the reels you've been creating. I got to know about you through one of your reels, so I find that as a beautiful matching point in this journey. Can you share a bit about, like, at what point you find this, your Instagram reels are about your corporate life, you're kind of, I think it's directed to a lot of people who might be figuring out their early careers, who might not know what it is to pursue a dream that you don't know the shape that it will take. So just share a bit about your Instagram reels, and how do you decide on, do you have like ideas when you just wake up one morning, you're like, I'm gonna make a reel out of this, or is it very spontaneous?
So actually, I would say each of the reels I have taken from my own life. Okay, so like every story I am trying to for portray through those reels, I am trying to set myself taking example from my own life. Why? Because I actually do have a vision. It is not out of like I would say I really have a goal inside my mind, and this suddenly came to me. Okay, uh, I felt like social media or whatever media it has a higher like it got a huge potential to affect the way people think, to shape how a society behave. I think it has media has a very powerful part in every people's lives. Okay, so when I got to realize this very fact, I understood that I wanted to do something, whatever the little amount of thing I can do, I should try my best to do to shape the society for breaking some societal norms. I would say, like, when I am growing up, I used to hear a lot of some already set rules for society to follow, but they were like very foolish, very idiotic, and I would often like, when I was, maybe I can recollect, maybe I was in 7th or 8th standard. During that time itself, when I heard about social reformers, like, there were social reformers we used to study in social science,
Yeah.
and regarding the Sadi, those kind of things, Rajaram Mohan Roy, oh, I don't remember the names. Those people, when I when I learned about them during that time, I decided that time that I would become a social reformer. Okay, I wanted to become a revolutionary mind who would what write erase all the societal norms, the rules, etc., etc., and I would add my own rules. Okay, that is what I wanted to do back in the time when I was a small student, maybe 7th or 8th standard, and I would often see myself at that particular point. Okay, I would see myself, I would think about myself after maybe 20, 30 years as a person who is coming up with newer societal norms and who would preach that norms to all the people. That is the vision I had in my childhood. Okay, then I forgot all about it. I was like completely gone, and very recently, when I used to use Instagram just like time pass, that's it. Very recently, I have gone through a lot of people commenting on Islamophobia, like associating every bearded man or hijabi woman to terrorists, all those stuff. Then I realized that why don't I just try with again? Like, I need to do something about it, right? So that is when I decided that I would be taking examples from my life and put it as a reel so that it will reach more and more audience. And first reel which was in this manner I created was that particular reel that you got to know about me from that reel. So in that particular video itself, you must have seen how many people are calling us terrorists, like making joke because of our hijab, those
Yeah.
things. I wanted to educate the society how, like, we all have our own things to we all have a lot of pain to go through, suffer a lot, and on top of it, how a Muslim woman or a hijabi woman, or forget about it, any student from any underprivileged circumstance, how much hate, how much criticism they are getting. If this is the case in virtual media, what would be the case in real world? It is similar, right? So we are often we see that people often judge others, right? For example, they won't know how what the life they are going through. They wouldn't even understand. Still, they would criticize them. So I want to make people understand through my reels that how you shouldn't just see a hijabi woman as this that way. She can be anything. There is no specific rules, or like a hijabi woman or a Muslim woman is always underprivileged. She is always what they say. There is one word they would often use. It is like hijab is not their choice. Hijab is that this they are
Oppressed,
oppressed.
oppressed.
Always oppressed. So these kind of things are always there. So through my reel, I am just showing them a woman can choose anything, any of. She has all the choices to make. Okay, if I am look, see, I am an example. Through me, I am showing them that if I can do all these things in life, and if I still choose to wear hijab, how is it that I am an oppressed woman? As if all I have choices to make in every other cases. Why I can't make a choice in hijab? There is nothing like that. And through my other reels, also like for example, one important thing I want to talk about is marriage. Okay, there are girls who think they should always try their luck only through marriage. There isn't like there are people, not just girls, their family also. Okay, they would just associate a girl's life with marriage, and if they are lucky enough, their marriage turn out to be good and they get a higher earning husband, then their life is good, else no point. There are a lot of girls in within my circle itself. They tried their luck on marriage, but later they understood that their husband is not good enough, drug addict, that this that they had to take a divorce, then they have to like these kind of stuffs are there. Okay, and there are society still, educated society I would say, who still think that a dowry is important, this is important, that is important. But like a lot of people, even though after education their brain is still in some olden era of something I don't know, and they associate certain things with a societal pride, that these kind of people are there. So through my reel, through my taking example from my own life, I am showing them why it is stupid. I won't say it is stupid, but I would make it appear like it is stupid so that people will understand, okay, we shouldn't support this kind of that kind of roles. But they would in a subtle manner I would say, they would understand, okay, there are like, okay, this is this can be done in this manner as well, and there is no point in judging someone. And even I would add one important point there. When me and my sister faced a lot of problems in life due to hijab, and when we weren't able to wear hijab, inside of us we were feeling guilty and all. Okay, and there were people who would criticize us for not hearing hijab, even though they know it is ultimately a person's choice what she want to do. Like we all are sinners. At the end of the day, we all are sinners. It is up to us to decide what sin we have to do, right? Like some people might be wearing hijab, still they would be doing a lot of sins that we don't know, right? So but there are people who would criticize us, judge others, and make their life tough, even though it is already tough for them. And for them it might be easier to wear a hijab, but when you see a reel and you see a lot of comments just pointing at the hijab, even though content is not about hijab, and you see a lot of criticism there, people should understand what these kind of people will be facing in their real life, isn't it? But no, there are people are very like, they just want to pass their judgment to others. They just don't want to make themselves good, but rather they would often take every opportunity to criticize others. So through my reels, I am just trying to be a hope, I would say, to people similar to me, or similar to like people like us, who can relate to, who can understand, or who can take some inspiration, or who want to change the society from the usual way of working, or whatever. I just want to make people think in a different manner. That's it.
You are an inspiration to me, and I was listening to you, and again, I'm just at a loss of words because I just want to listen to you. I don't think so. There's anything I can add to it except for the fact that I think you are a revolutionary, Ramseena. I don't think so. You should give up on that dream. You're already living that dream, and letting so many of us learn from how to be as authentic and as sincere to oneself, and that shows in the way you speak, in the way you make your reels, and in the way you show up for the world. And I think it's your light that shines through everything you do, and I'm deeply honored to be listening to you right now and have you on Maybe Muslim. So thank you so much, Ramseena. I'm just joyous listening to you, so I really don't have much to add. I think as a departing note, Ramseena, I have one question for you, and I think it's a question that comes from a very personal space, and I just want to ask you this. You have already grown so much, Ramseena. You have so much maturity, you have so much understanding of the world you are part of, and the capacity in which you live, the identity that you live with, and the way you are so beautifully creating it for everyone to learn from you. How do you imagine the future, and what's your dream?
This question is kind of tough, okay? Because my dream always used to fluctuate based on what kind of life situation I am in. For example, right now I am creating real only because I am confident enough to portray my identity. I might not be doing the same thing if it were like 2 years back. Right now I am in a corporate sector who don't oppress me, I would say. I am proud of my identity. I am confident enough to showcase my identity towards the public. That is the very reason I am doing all these things. And I don't know if it would be the same maybe after 2 or 3 years. I don't know. And my goals can always change. But what I see is that I get a lot of messages from people around India who have gone through my reels, all those things. I get a lot of messages from girls, from Muslims, non Muslims, everyone, from uh, students from underprivileged circumstances, everyone. And the way they are talking to me, like, oh, you are a hope to us, or like, we are learning a lot, okay, we can also do all this stuff, okay, it is in our reach. It is not always about the what I would say financially better class people. It is not always for people like that. And I feel like it is very really good to get this kind of to understand, okay, I am making some changes to people's life, and I am somehow motivating them, uh, or giving some hope to them through the person that I am, from being from that kind of a circumstance. If I am doing all this, and it feels really good. So, and I feel like in future more and more people would be able to relate, and they would be able to do something for themselves, them, for their family, and they would succeed in their life. They would change their life for better. So that is my dream for now. I don't know what is going to happen in the future. I don't know if I will lose my confidence. I have no idea about it. But with the confidence that I have for now, I am trying my best to change the society, at least within the circle that I am in. And and one more important thing is, there are kids from my place who never had any idea about what IIT is, what JE is. All these kids are messaging me to learn about it, to know about it. And they have known, they have right now there are YouTube everything available, and they have already searched about it, and they have already decided their name. And it is like feeling really happy to know that, okay, so whatever little things I'm doing, it is impacting the right place it should be. So it feels really good. And that is what my aim is, to educate more people, to make people understand that through education you can reach anywhere, whatever background you are from, whatever family you are from. With education you can reach anywhere, everywhere you want. There is no limit to it. Like, education is the powerful weapon you can use to change your own life and others life, and this is the very thing that I want to showcase through my uh, that is the very goal of me. That is one thing. Another important thing is, uh, again, I was a person with marriage phobia. Okay, I always used to think marriage is something like, with the background that I am from, I always used to associate marriage with some kind of, what I would say, some kind of fearful situation, scary place, something like that. And I know there are a lot of girls like me, students like me, they would be associating marriage, or they would be doing the same thing because of the way they are seeing the marriages around them. And I also want to educate people not just about education but also about marriages, about family, about what it is and how we shouldn't associate it with some scary situation. It is not like that, and it is entirely different and happy place to be. And I don't know, like, why the society is creating phobias in the minds of students and people like us, youth like us, and making it appear that marriage is a scary place. No, it is not. I don't feel like that. And I want to educate society about those aspects of life which are not about education but about life in general. Anything, it can be marriage, it can be any other life related aspects, or work life. That, for example, for women, uh, there are people who don't think a working woman is a good woman, a working woman is a bad woman. Those kind of stuff are always there. It is still there. And so yeah, I want, my goal is particularly to educate people based on every aspect of life in general.
Fantastic. And I'm sure you'll continue doing that. I have zero doubts that you're going to achieve the work you intend to do. And I think you already said this in our conversation that if you put your heart into something and you do because it matters to you, I think you will just continue flourishing there. So I do hope that continues for you and I wish you all the best, Ramseena. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and I hope to meet you at some point.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about whatever is in my head, and really thankful to you.
Thank you. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please review and or give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to them. You can learn more about Ramseena's journey through her Instagram, and the link is available on MBM's website. You can also listen to other MBM episodes with Sulfat Leila from Vanaja Collective, Nasni Rizvi, Madina B, Sabah Khan, among others who expand the understanding of being an Indian, a Muslim, and everything in between. I'm Mariyam Haider. Thank you for listening to Main Bhi Muslim. I will be back with another episode in a few weeks' time. Until then, take care, lots of love and gratitude.